This is coming from Rick Glazer. He says, wow, all facts, not boxing rumors. Boots Ennis is now totally ducking Teofimo Lopez, and Devin Haney wants the same money to face Teofimo. Money that wouldn't be printable even if Haney was still WBC 140-pound champ. As that's really Haney ducking Teofimo. They're all ducking Teofimo. And why is Rick Glazer coming to that conclusion? Well, let's listen to Eddie Hearn when he says about Boots Ennis fighting Teofimo. On the rights to this content is for educational purposes only. This is Eddie Hearn talking about Jaron Boots Ennis fighting Teofimo. And while we are at it, let's listen to what Brian Norman says about Manny Pacquiao. Take it away, Eddie.
He doesn't want to just turn up one day and underperform. And he feels like that's the only thing that's affecting that factor is the weight cut. So he hasn't got many more, if any, left at 147. And whilst he's there, he just wants to fight the champions. And, you know, he's a tremendous fighter. It's in a great position right now, coming off that performance. And he's got many years ahead of him. He's only just turned 28. He's a baby.
Yeah. You know, he's a legend in the game. I wish the best for him. And if he win that fight, shoot, I'm right here. You used to be with Top Rank. I'm still with Top Rank. So let's make business.
You're supposed to respect your elders, Brian. The man's old enough to be your father.
Did I say anything respectful?
No.
Disrespectful?
No.
Not at all. I said I respect him. I learned a lot from him as well. But it's a young man's game. I got to go out here and get mine. I respect everything he had going on. Look at what he did to Oscar De La Hoya. Why he didn't respect Oscar De La Hoya. But he had to go out there and get his. So just like he had to get his, now it's my turn. I got to go out here and get mine.
Who do you think?
First of all, let me say this. I disagree with Rick Glazer. I don't think Ennis is ducking Teofimo because Teofimo is not even at 147 yet. Second, Eddie said the weight cut is the biggest concern with Boots Ennis fighting Teofimo. So I'm thinking that's what Boots Ennis think affected his performance against Karen Jugachan, and that's the IBF belt. So I'm thinking he would have to defend the IBF belt against Teofimo because he already has a WBA mandatory, and they're not going to let Teofimo jump over that WBA mandatory. So if he fought Teofimo Lopez, it would be the IBF belt, which has a 10-pound rehydration clause, and that is what Boots Ennis is concerned with. And he wants to be at his best when he fights Teofimo. But I cannot call this a duck because Teofimo hasn't even officially moved up to 147. I just think Rick Glazer does not like Eddie Hearn. And I think Boots, if he has that much big of a concern, won't he just move up to 154, dude? We don't want you to end up like Errol Spence, who stayed at the weight too long. But that's my opinion. I don't think Boots is ducking Teofimo Lopez. Usually, Rick Glazer's news is on point. But when it comes to Eddie Hearn and Al Heyman, you got to throw that with a grain of salt. Another reason why Boots should consider moving up is because it doesn't seem like Brian Norman Jr. wants to fight him. If Brian Norman Jr. is successful against Jen Psaki and Manny Pacquiao is successful against Mario Barrios, that is the fight Brian Norman Jr. wants to make. Now, I don't think he gets the fight. I said before, I think Pacquiao would fight someone like Rolly Romero. It doesn't seem like Brian Norman Jr. is in a hurry to find Jaron Boots Ennis. So Jaron Boots Ennis has three choices, right? He could fight Teofimo Lopez and defend his IBF belt, or defend his WBA belt against Shakram, who's 17-0 with 10 knockouts. Or if you have a big concern about the weight, just move up to 154. Because it looks like to me, and I hope I'm wrong, I want to see that fight against Brian Norman Jr., but it looks like to me, has his sights on Manny Pacquiao. You know, the best thing, and I hate to say this, Manny Pacquiao's a legend, all-time great. I think the best thing to happen in this fight is Mario Barrios wins and he stops Manny Pacquiao. Not hurt him real bad, just stop him. So Brian Norman and others not trying to take the low-hanging fruit, the easy touch, the gravy train. Because Norman Jr. and Rolly Romero have made it clear they're interested in the Pacquiao fight if he wins. They have no interest in facing Jaron Boots Ennis. I think that's last resort. I think Jaron Boots Ennis is last resort. But anyway, what do you think? Is Jaron boots Ennis, ducking Teofimo. And what do you think about the Manny Pacquiao, Brian Norman Jr. fight possibilities? Beezy, I'm gone.